Fanatics View, we are in the building with Sneaker Reporter.
All right.
I should say in front of the building. Not
Yeah,
in the building.
in front of the ACC. This is unfamiliar territory for me.
Get the initial Sneaker Report story. You know, how did you decide to get into this business? When did you start covering NBA games? What made you conceptualize Sneaker Reporter?
Okay. Yeah, Sneaker Reporter came about, I want to say back in 2009. I was in Boston, got an opportunity to work with blackathlete.net, and it was basically a company that, you know, just was all pro-black, supporting black athletes and stuff like that, basically telling our own stories. And I was working with them, and then I was able to branch out and kind of do the Sneaker Reporter thing after that, you know, as far as working with them, being under their wing, learning about, you know, the business through them while covering the Celtics games. And then that's how the Sneaker Reporter came about. I was actually around Gary Washburn, he covers the Boston Celtics, Kyle Draper, he covers the Celtics, Sherrod Blakely. Those guys were like, you know, you're wearing suit and tie combinations all the time, but, you know, this isn't you. You know what I'm saying? You're 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? Won't you be you? You know, won't you be the Sneaker Reporter? You could wear sneakers, but wear casual clothes while you're reporting the game as well. So that's kind of how that came about. And, you know, I've been blessed and fortunate to be able to be in a position where I can mix the two things that I love, because I'm a sneakerhead, but at the same time I love basketball just as much. So that's basically how that came about, and it was a good little niche that they carved out for me, and I kind of took it and ran with it.
From there, you go to the Celtics, or there you go to OKC. Tell me where.
Yeah,
where does the journey go from there?
Yeah. So it started in Boston. I was covering the Celtics from 2010 all the way to 2014. And I covered the Celtics in 2009, but I did like a couple of games, so I don't kind of count that. That was kind of like the initiation, you know what I'm saying? Just learning the game and being a sponge and just being able to actually learn about, you know, the industry and learn about, you know, how to be a professional. So 2010 was the first time I was actually able to cover home and away games. So that's when I would definitely consider everything kind of starting off for me. So the journey started in Boston. That's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? That's my city. I represent all day. You know, and then I like to say, and a lot of people say this too, Boston basically made me and raised me. But Oklahoma City is where, you know, where I made that bread. You know what I'm saying?
And what is the backstory about you getting into NBA 2K? What's the story behind that?
Okay, so basically, I'm going to transition the whole Oklahoma City, how Oklahoma City came about. So the reason why I actually went to Oklahoma City was because of Perry Jones Jr., Reggie Jackson, Andre Robertson, and those guys covering, I was covering the 2014 Summer League, and those guys were constantly there, and I was covering the Celtics at the time, but I was hanging out with the Thunder players. And another part of that, too, is Nolan Smith, who just became the assistant coach for Duke University. Shout out to Nolan, my big bro. And he basically was one of those guys that was like, hey, look, we need to be able to, you know, transition and make this happen, because at the time he was on the Thunder Summer League team. He just came back from his injury. So just talking to Andre Robertson and all those guys, linking up with them, they was like, hey, man, you really got a good niche if you come out to Oklahoma City. That's kind of where, you know, everything can really, you know, pop off for you, because nobody talks about the culture and talks about the game out there. So he was like, you know, that Midwest is missing that. And so I just wanted to bring my flavor. Now, fast forward to 2K. 2K came about. They reached out to me. I didn't know I had some of the gaming developers actually following me on Instagram. And they reached out to me, and it was like, hey, man, did you ever think about being in the game? And I said, yeah. I said, I play 2K all the time, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they was like, we want to make that a dream come true for you, you know? So I didn't know if it was going to initially happen when 2K, I believe it was 2K17 or 18, when it first came out. I didn't know if I was going to be in the game at first. They sent me copies, but I just moved from apartments. So whoever's at my old apartment, you got those free copies of 2K. But they sent it, but I didn't get it. But I bought the game, and then when I saw I was in the game, man, it was just a humbling experience, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to explain it. You know, I called my mom, cried like a baby, because you play that game, you know, you're not imagining you're gonna be in the game. You know what I'm saying? So I credit that moment to Oklahoma City as well, because a lot of, Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, those guys really shed a lot of light on me in my career and helped me get to where I am right now and propel me to where I am. So I want to say if they wasn't there, that attention wouldn't have been shed on me to the point that the 2K developers would be following me. So I don't think that whole thing would have happened, but I'm blessed and fortunate it happened though.
Right on. And so who is you've interviewed tons of players.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite interview and why?
Favorite interview? I'll have to go with, for me, it would probably have to be either Chris Paul. I'll probably go Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, or Russell Westbrook. But if I was going to put it in order, I'll go Westbrook, KD, then CP3. Now, and I'll tell you why. The reason why Westbrook, a lot of people are intimidated by Westbrook, but he's relatable. You know what I'm saying? He comes from the inner city just like me, and I think he respected me, and when you have the respect of a Russell Westbrook, especially being a media member, I think that kind of, he knew that I was the type of person, I'm going to come in and do my job. I'm not going to try to do the clickbait and everything like that. I'm going to be real and genuine. And a lot of the media members used to be nervous to ask questions. So they'd be like, hey, Trav, ask him the question first, just to get things started. So I used to always ask him questions first. One of my biggest videos on YouTube is his execution video that went, I think, 2 million views on that. So hopefully this gets 2 million views. And, so that blew up. KD, like me and KD, man, that was my favorite player. Still is one of my favorite players. And when I went to Oklahoma City, it just kind of like connected, where we were able to talk about everything from sneakers, his game. It didn't matter what it was. And he always gave me a lot of insight on a lot of stuff that was coming out for his brand or some of the events he had, fundraising as well. So I was always there for those. And then CP3, he's just, man, he's his IQ, just talking to him, I feel like I'm learning basketball just as much as he's telling me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm finding something out new that I never knew before when I talk to Chris. And it's not just about talking about sneakers and stuff like that with Chris. It's more so just being able to be a sponge and listen to what he actually knows, because he was able to give that information to Shea. So just listening to how he talks and how he handles the media like a professional, I always love talking to him. And then my goofiest ones are Andre Robertson, for sure. Like, me and him, that was my first hour-long interview, was Andre Robertson. We was in a hotel back in Florida, in Orlando, during Summer League, I think 2013, and we sat there and we talked for a whole hour, man. So that's my brother, and he's always going to be my brother. So those are probably the 4 right there. PG's, obviously, me and PG are close too, so I would definitely throw PG out there as well as far as NBA players, for sure. And Langston, my dog Langston Galloway. Can't forget about my brother Langston Galloway too. So those are the ones.
Right on. And you led into my next question here too, because I was going to ask you, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
What's it like to cover him as media, and do you feel he's misunderstood?
I definitely feel like he's misunderstood. He's one of those guys, he just wants to win. He's competitive. I think his best thing was I have no best friends. My best friend's Spalding. You know what I'm saying? That's one of his quotes, and just the competitor that he is, man. He brings out that competitive edge, that competitive nature. He was never a problem for me covering him. I loved covering Westbrook. Anything that I put up with Westbrook went viral. So I was loving it because I was monetizing as well. So he looked out for me just as much as I tried to look out for him. Whether he had a True Religion event, whether he had a Jordan Brand event, I always wanted to be there just to let him know I got your back just as much as you got my back. And that was mutual. Even when he got traded to Houston, I was at his comedy show that night. So, you know what I'm saying? Just being there, he came up to me and we shared a moment where he was like, hey, man, he was like, I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I said, it's the same.
And what about Russ as a player? Because that's the man. What about Russ as a player as well? Because you always hear the criticisms of empty stats, right?
Yeah.
Or he's not a winner.
Yeah.
Is that unfair?
I think that's unfair because he gives it 110%. I've seen this man every night of my life pretty much just putting it all on the line when I was covering him, man. I mean, night in, night out. If you pay to see Westbrook, you're going to be able to get all your money's worth, He's gonna get the stats. I think the thing that people actually misunderstand is in the game, Westbrook's more of a transition player. So if he gets the rebound, he's going to be able to initiate the offense a lot quicker. And people don't understand that, you know what I'm saying? So they think, oh, he's just padding stats and stuff like that. No, he knows how to set up quicker if he has you guys on your heels. If he has the defender on his heels, that's what's going to happen. So I feel like he's just misunderstood. He's a competitor. He wants to win. The triple-doubles are cool, but at the end of the day, he's a champion in my books no matter what he does.
Best Russell Westbrook story?
Best Russell Westbrook story. I got one for you. Here we go. That caught me off guard, but I got one for you. Media Day. So this is Media Day 2017, 16 maybe. And I'm looking at him. He's debuting the new Jordan 31 in his colorway. And he had a nice OKC colorway. And I'm over there taking pictures and stuff of it. And then I walked away. And then I'm sitting there standing with the rest of the media guys. And he's like, Travis. And I'm just standing there like, he's not talking about me. There's probably another Travis here somewhere. Westbrook ain't messing with me. And he's like, Travis. And I'm like, nah, he's still not calling me. He's like, sneaker reporter. So then I was like, yeah. He was like, you gonna be at my event, right? And he had an event where he was doing a clothing line. He was debuting a new clothing line collaboration, I think with True Religion and stuff like that, gaining, traction going into his Honor the Gift. And I was like, yeah. I was like, anything you need, I'm gonna be there, man. So I thought that was pretty funny because the whole time I'm thinking he doesn't know me. But at the end of the day, he knows you. And he reads what you say. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. And I thought it was pretty cool because after that let me know that I'm making an impact. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually doing something to the point that Westbrook is recognizing who I am and he knows who I am now, to the point that we had a genuine conversation. And another one, just the switch-up game. Sometimes Westbrook, you can catch him, if he's in the heart of the battle and stuff like that, when he finishes, if he has a bad game, he's going to, if you say, hey, Westbrook, hey, good game or whatever like that, he'd be like, thanks, man, I appreciate it or whatever like that. And sometimes he won't. But he always took the time out for my family, and that was one of the things that I'll never forget. My mom still talks about it to this day. Westbrook talked to my mom for like 20 minutes, after a game, and just was talking to her about life and stuff. We didn't even talk about nothing. It was just life. And the fact that he was able to do that, I mean, that meant a lot to me. No matter what, I won't have one bad thing to say about Westbrook just because of that.
And same question about James Harden. Do you feel, because we hear the empty stats thing with him as well.
Yeah.
And I guess you did get a chance to cover Harden too, right?
I didn't, not as much. No.
No. Okay. So, do you feel that criticism is valid at all?
I don't think it's valid because he's putting up the numbers. He's putting up the numbers, but at the same time, his team's winning. Any situation he's been in, his team's winning. They're in the playoffs. And I feel like a lot of people don't give him enough credit as a teammate and a leader, as much as they need to. Westbrook going to Houston, just seeing how they played together, you could tell they made each other better. And now you can see when James was playing with Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? He's putting up MVP numbers and he's making everybody better as well. The only thing that I'm waiting to see is, him, Kyrie, and KD. They only played 7 games together, so I want to see how he can, gel together with them. But overall, from a stat standpoint, he's gonna get his numbers. But I think him wanting to leave Houston let people know I want to win. The numbers are cool, but it's about winning.
And so, what was it like to cover Kevin Durant in his prime?
Yeah.
In Oklahoma City? You mentioned a little bit, but could you dive in more? And
okay.
Also, I know KD's in a blessed situation right now, but you think there's, knowing him a little bit, knowing him as much as a media member can know him, you think there's part of him that regrets the whole situation that happened with Oklahoma City, staying there, not leaving there rather, and not staying?
Okay. For me, like I said, I honestly, I got to give some of my career to KD. You know what I'm saying? Without him, I don't think I would be as far as I would have been and getting that light shed on me in Oklahoma City. So just covering every game I'll be out there pregame, man. This man's shooting. He's a sniper, easy money sniper. You know what I'm saying? So he's out there perfecting his craft. He's out there doing what he's supposed to do on the court and off the court. I think he was professional both ways. I never had an issue with him. If I asked him a question, covering him, it was always good. Just covering him as far as the game, he take a little criticism and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, he knows that I have a job to do and he has a job to do, but I never had any issues with him, So just seeing him for that year, because the first year I went there, he had the Bones Jones fracture. So the second year, that 3-1, the 3-1 lead, just watching him that whole season, man, it was special. Something that I definitely will cherish, you know what I'm saying? Because I've never seen a scorer in my life just score with that much ease. You know, he can pull up from anywhere he wants to. You know, he's so tall, his reach is it's incredible. You know what I'm saying? So just covering him, man, I mean, it was special. If it was up to me, man, I wanted him to go to Boston, man. I didn't want him to go to Golden State. You know, I wanted him to be in Boston with Big Papi and Tom Brady. You know, that's what I wanted. But, you know, I didn't get what I wanted. He went to Golden State, but I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? His main thing was happiness. And if going to Golden State and playing with that fluent offense made him happy, it made him happy and it made him a champion. So that's something you can't take away from him. So,
could you sense a rift between Russ and KD that year?
You couldn't tell anything. You know, obviously, from what I heard, they had two different crews that they would hang out with, but they respected each other on and off the court. That was one thing. When I went to Kevin Durant's fundraisers, Westbrook was standing right next to him. When I went to Russ's, KD was standing right next to him. You know, and it's a brotherhood. You know, I think a lot of the media kind of got that misunderstood, and myself included. You know, because I got caught up in it. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, Kevin Durant, you know, is one of my favorite players to watch. And Russ as well, but I don't think it was a real beef, and I think a lot of the media kind of took it and ran with it because he left and Russ stayed, you know.
Do you think all of those guys at the end of the day, at the end of their careers, are going to look back and say what could have been about that whole situation, though?
I mean, you're always going to say what could have been, you know, because Oklahoma City was so special. You know, they had, you know, 3 MVPs on the team at the same time, you know what I'm saying, with a young Reggie Jackson and a young Serge Ibaka, you know, so you're always going to wonder what if, you know, and, you know, it's unfortunate because, you know, Oklahoma City didn't know that the TV money was going to be coming. They didn't know that they were going to have the chance to bounce that money off the luxury tax to try to keep James Harden, you know, so things happened, you know, after the fact, so they couldn't change it. But all I know is all 3 of them love each other. You know, it's a brotherhood, and, you know, they're going to continue to, I know they're going to continue to talk about that.
And, you know, both of us were at separate venues, but we were at possibly the most bizarre night in NBA history.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about that Utah Jazz, Oklahoma City game.
That was crazy, man.
Can you tell me what the hell it was like to be in the building that night? Man. And you know, we were at it was Dallas versus Denver.
Yep.
We were watching, I think it was halftime or the third quarter when you guys were shut down.
Yeah, we shut down.
And then the whole league shuts down.
Yeah.
And our game is the only game playing.
That was going on, yeah.
And we were just in shock.
Man.
And just take me through that whole night. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that for you. I can definitely do that for you, man. I'm going to tell you right now, I was scared out of my mind. The crazy part was, so I dapped up a couple of Utah Jazz players pregame, you know, because I always say what's up to my homies, George Niang, Donovan Mitchell. I was about to dap him up. And he was like, hey, I'll get you after I finish shooting and stuff like that. And, you know, we usually talk and stuff like that. He ended up following me on Instagram and everything. And I chopped it up with him about his sneakers and stuff like that. So we got cool over the time. And Rudy wasn't out. So Rudy was already sick. He stayed at the hotel. But pregame that day was it was just weird. You could tell the vibe in the arena was weird, you know, and you didn't know what was going to happen. I never saw the referees. So that was one thing that kind of, you know, caught me off guard. And I ended up going to my seat, and then I was like, okay, there go the referees. I saw the referees when I got the press row, and then I saw them huddling up, and then they went away, and then I was like, I don't know what's going on right now. So then after that, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, maybe this game, they might postpone this game. You know, I've never seen this before. And I can just remember, you know, just the fans just sitting there just wondering, like, what's going on? Like, you know, what are we going to play, or, you know, what's going to happen type of thing. And it was just a weird vibe in the arena, you know, because you're nervous, you're scared at the same time. You don't know how crazy the coronavirus was at the time, but yeah.
Do you think people were thinking COVID? Was everyone thinking COVID at the time?
I don't think like we were thinking COVID right away, type of thing. But when I saw one of the officials for the Thunder on their staff. He ran out to the referees, and then I just saw them just go like.
Yeah, I remember Chris Paul was like, "What's wrong with Rudy? What's wrong?"
Yeah, exactly. They did one of those, "Hey, it's over" type of thing, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" So when that happened, then I started recording because I was like, "This is history." So then I started recording. The fans were leaving. The fans were booing. The fans were mad. But that was the first time I seen both teams just go back to their respective, locker rooms. So it was just weird because I didn't know what to think. And then when Woj tweeted, he was like, hey, one of the players, there's a player with COVID, blah, 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 blah. We didn't know the severity of the disease, the virus at the time. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I just dapped up a couple of these players and yada yada yada. So now I'm panicking because I'm like, what if I got COVID now? You know, and I'm thinking to myself, I call my mom, she's like, calm down, calm down. I'm like, Ma, I dapped up, kind of bro hugged a couple of the players and yada yada yada. So what if I have it? You know what I'm saying? And it made me panic, man. I was definitely scared that night, man. I can't lie, because there was so much going on. And then when we got back to the media room, we're sitting there waiting for tweets to come out and learning more. And then when they said Rudy Gobert got coronavirus, we all just like, yeah, we were all stunned. We were all in that media room. There was about 30 of us in there, just glued to our phones waiting for the next tweet, you know. And it was scary, man. And it's still scary, you know. But it was a good moment, you know, because it made me realize that we need to come together regardless as a country and be able to be united regardless, because we didn't know what was going on at the time. So everybody was united in fear because we didn't know the severity of the whole coronavirus.
And what was it like just leaving the building that night? What? Because I know because players were quarantined.
They were quarantined.
They brought in the people with the hazmat suits and everything, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. The players they were in the arena until 3 a.m. So they didn't
stay the whole time.
Yeah.
You had to stay the whole time.
I didn't have to stay the whole time. At a certain point in time, I started seeing some media people like drop off. So I was like, okay, maybe I can leave now. But I was already panicking, man. So I ended up the ride home, I just started calling my mom, because I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to let her know, hey, I was at the game. They postponed it. But I don't know the severity of the coronavirus. I don't know. We didn't have any information. You know what I'm saying? So it was just real tough at the time. And I could just remember that ride home. I was just talking to my mom, and I actually brought home another media member with me, Cliff Brunt from the AP. And we were just talking about it. We was like, what's the next step? We didn't know if they were going to shut the league down. Then after that, that's when the tweet came out saying, hey, we're going to scrap the rest of the season. And, I thought that was going to be it for a little while for NBA basketball. I can't lie to you. I didn't know we didn't know the bubble was going to happen. We didn't know anything was going to happen. So it was just nerve-wracking. You know what I'm saying? I didn't – the unknown. You know what I'm saying? You've been in a situation where you just don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I got stuck in that situation, and I was like, man, I'm really not in control.
I was on the Maverick side. It was bone chilling because you just saw suspended season.
Yeah.
And you don't know what that means, right? Is that 2 weeks?
Yeah. You don't know.
It ended up being what, 5 months, right, or 4 months?
Yeah. That's the thing. You didn't know. You didn't know.
Yeah.
We had to deal with horse.
I remember that game, because the Warriors already announced that they weren't gonna have fans, right?
Yeah.
So we knew certain things were coming, and you kind of felt like that might be coming here, the no fans. But then for it to just escalate from 1 to 10 like that was the shock.
It was scary, man, because like I said, you're in the unknown. You don't know anything that's gonna happen. You don't know the whole severity of, are they gonna play? Is this gonna be it for the whole season? Are they scrapping it? Are we gonna have a champion this year? We didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So the NBA handled it perfectly, though. I mean, that bubble was the smartest thing they could do. Everybody was safe. At first, I was a little nervous about the bubble because I was like, I don't know if they're choosing health over wealth. Yeah. I don't know if they're using,
we still didn't know a lot about the virus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was kind of nerve-wracking. But Adam Silver he did a hell of a job, man. And I'm glad. He's done a great job since he got the job. So I was just happy that we was able to get NBA basketball back, but safe. I wanted the players to be safe. That was the main thing.
And a lot of people don't know this, but you retired or temporarily retired from covering the Thunder this season.
Yeah.
How bizarre of a year has this been for you, a guy that, has intimate relationships with players and relies on those to create stories and create videos, and, that's kind of been taken away from you to a larger degree.
Yeah.
Just how bizarre, because the fans don't kind of know the nuances of everything. So how has this year been for you as a reporter and I guess pivoting to Houston as well?
Yeah, it's been challenging. I love Oklahoma City, man. Oklahoma City definitely made me. The sneaker reporter name, it blew up in Oklahoma City. There was a lot of light shed on me, and I love that city to death. I love the fans. I love the people. It's just so they're humble. They're humble spirits out there, and I love Oklahoma City. It's been difficult, because I'm so used to giving the content that everybody wants, and the Zooms are kind of challenging. You know what I'm saying? You're in a scrum now with 15, 20 people, and it's like you might get a question and you might not. So it's a lot more challenging, but Oklahoma, I wouldn't change anything this whole year, man. You know what I'm saying? It was honestly really good because my little sister Everly was able to come out to Oklahoma right after, they postponed the season and everything. She came out there, spent like 6 months with me. So I was able to hang out with my little sister, man. I barely got the chance to do that. She would come out, in the summer and stuff like that. So I had a lot of family time and was able to really reflect and just remain humble, actually revamp and rebrand myself and be able to come back with a fresher mindset. And I think a lot of people didn't really take the chance during coronavirus, during that whole hiatus, to be able to, work on their craft. I did IG lives. I was doing interviews on IG. I was still pumping out sneaker content. Usually if I don't get the chance to put out interviews, I'm pumping out sneaker news. So it's like, all right, I got the best of both worlds, and I'm still able to do what I want to do. So, I try to dibble into everything. I even dropped a mixtape last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I dropped my music. You know what I'm saying? So don't call it a comeback. You know what I'm saying? Y'all check that out on SoundCloud. But I do things. I'm all over the place, man. I feel like I could do anything I put my mind to. So I made sure I took that year to do music, family time. I grew as a person, and Oklahoma City was different though. It was different.
All right, I gotta ask you about the team and the guy behind us right now. So,
Okay.
from your initial first time of seeing Luka
Yeah.
to where he is now,
I was wrong.
the meteoric rise of Luka right now.
Yeah.
Are you surprised by this? Did you see this coming?
Did not see it coming. I was wrong. I'm going to say it on camera. I was wrong about Luka, man. I was wrong. That man's a stud. He is a killer. The crazy thing is, I thought it was a fluke. And I'm going to tell you why I thought it was
The rookie
a fluke.
year? You thought the rookie year?
No, not rookie year.
Oh.
Before that.
Okay.
So, Real Madrid, they played Oklahoma City, Russ's MVP season.
Yeah.
And he was torching us. And I was like, this is a one game. This is a little preseason, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't think anything of it. And you know what I'm saying? Luka came through and he put up some numbers. I forget what numbers he had exactly, but he was putting some people on skates. And he was going to the basket easily. Steven Adams couldn't check him. It was it was crazy, man, because I'm looking at him at that young age and I'm like, he's playing against pros. He played against pros his whole life. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that game he was going to be able to transition to the NBA. Now, I didn't know he was going to do what he's doing now. You know what I'm saying? This man, he's a killer, man. Straight up killer. Luka the Don, man. MVP candidate for sure. Putting up crazy numbers this season. I mean, if you would have told me that he would have been hitting some of the clutchest shots, I mean, he's hitting some clutch shots in some big moments and big games right now. And he's doing a lot of things, man. He's making Dallas proud, From the outside looking in, man. Like I said, I'm in uncharted territory right now. But Luka's that dude. He really is.
And tough question for you here.
Okay.
Do you feel, as good as Luka is,
Yeah.
can the Dallas Mavericks win a championship without a third star? And I want to throw a couple names out.
Okay,
at you.
go for it.
So free agents, we have Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
We have restricted free agent Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
And you have unrestricted free agent DeMar DeRozan. Do you feel any of those guys are fits? I didn't include Oladipo because I feel like Miami is kind of locked in.
Yeah.
The one wild card I have for you, I'll talk about that next actually. But do you, just the general question, do you think they could win without a third star if KP is still kind of struggling with injuries?
I feel like they need a third star. I've been talking about DeMar DeRozan here for the longest. I feel like he should be able to be that guy that can fit, because I was telling Chris, I said they need somebody that, when it comes down to it, you can give him the ball and he can create his own shot, and Luka can Luka could finally get a chance to breathe, get a breather on offense, and DeMar would definitely help him out, what I'm saying, as far as spacing. You got Luka on the left, you got DeMar on the right, you know what I'm saying? DeMar's a mid-range killer. Luka can do it everywhere, just adding that whole dimension, you don't know which way it's going to come from. So I think they do need that third player to complement KP and Luka for sure. That's just my opinion. If they win it this year, then we can scrap this whole video. You know what I'm saying? It's just, but I feel like they do need that third player.
So, and my one wild card for you
go for
is no, it's an extreme thought. I'm not going to lie to you.
It sounds.
But
extreme, right?
if the Clippers lose,
Okay.
Kawhi has an opt out.
That's true.
Do you think that is that just complete pie in the sky thought? Do you think Kawhi would ever come to Dallas?
I think that's a pie in the sky thought. Yeah, I don't see Kawhi coming over this way. He loves LA. There was a reason why he wanted to go to LA. He wanted to be closer to home. He wanted to make sure that he can do things with his family around. And then also he said he wanted to bring a championship to LA. So my thing is, for Kawhi though, I mean, you can plug him anywhere. He's like a Kevin Durant. You can throw him in any city right now on any team, and he's gonna make them better. So if he did come here, if he did opt out, just imagine KP, Luka, and Kawhi. I mean, that's a championship in my opinion.
My one thought is if they do lose in the playoffs, how bad does it get for that kind of for the whole Clipper dynamic there, right? Because and then if he does opt out and if things are on the table, where else would he go, right?
I feel like it all depends on how far they go. You know what I'm saying? If they lose in the NBA Finals, then he comes back. You know what I'm saying? If he loses in the conference finals, Game 7, I think he'll come back.
If you get bounced in the first round.
Yeah, if they get bounced in the first round, then I think he'll start thinking about things. But it's his team's always been tight-knit. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying nothing. So at the end of the day, it kind of just depends on what he wants to do and what makes him happy. And Kawhi's always been quiet. You know what I'm saying? The one thing he wasn't quiet about was taking Paul George from us. But he took my guy, man. He took my guy from OKC, man. But at least Paul George, he re-signed though, so that was cool.
You know what I wanted to ask you about that I completely forgot?
Go for it.
Is quickly on the OKC thing.
Yeah.
Do you think the Raptors should have done that deal?
I would have did that.
Taking Westbrook and George and then keeping Kawhi and then.
I would have did that. That big three would have been crazy. You got Kawhi, Russ, and PG. I would have went to Toronto. That's how I felt about that. I would have probably went to Toronto, but you're getting those young pieces back. You would have got Fred, you would have got Siakam, and then I think Lowry would have been another piece that was added in there. So yeah, I would have did that. But at the end of the day, you got a franchise player in Shea though, out of the mix.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as well, do you think Kawhi legitimately would have stayed or do you think that was just posturing to?
I think honestly, I think he wanted to play with Paul George. Obviously, he wanted him in LA with him. So why wouldn't it fit? Why wouldn't it? I think it could have happened. I think it could have.
And do you think maybe because at the time I think the Raptors didn't want to give up their young guys.
Yeah.
But then a year later, maybe.
Hey, you never know.
Because I mean, like if you look at it, the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
Only around 8 teams have won championships, right?
Yeah.
And you throw in the Raptors getting their one. That could easily never happen again.
That's true. That's true. But they took a chance.
They took a chance, yeah.
You got rid of DeMar. You brought in Kawhi. You bring in a championship. That's what you did. That's what you wanted.
Well, I guess I'm saying, like, wouldn't you, if you're the Raptors, wouldn't you do everything possible to keep keep Kawhi here?
Definitely. I think it was more so it just came down probably to L.A. It just came down to L.A. But at least they made they presented the offer.
Right.
And I think it came down to OKC and a couple of pieces that they wanted as well. But at the end of the day, it happened for a reason. They're both in L.A. now. And, hopefully they get the championship this year.
Nikola Jokic or Joel Embiid or insert MVP. Who do you got this year?
It's going to probably be Joker. Only because he's been healthy all season. Jamal Murray going down, that helps him out as well because now he has a lot more on his plate. But he's been special this year. I want to say Embiid, but Embiid getting hurt, I think that really kind of brought him down. Just like James Harden getting hurt too, brought him down a little bit. But a sneaky pick, 2 sneaky picks I got. Kawhi, I mean not Kawhi, my bad, take that back. But Kawhi's up there too. I'll throw him in there, why not? But Kyrie, CP3, and then the third one I'll throw in there is Dame. I think Dame did a lot.
Can I throw in another one as well?
Go for it.
Donovan Mitchell?
Nah, not for me. Not for me. That's
okay.
my dog.
Okay.
But I just feel like he got a lot of help over there. You know what I'm saying? He got Gobert, defensive player of the year type of player. But for me, I would say Kyrie, CP3, Dame, Joker, and Embiid, and Harden. Those are my picks right there. Don't ask me to pick who's going to be it's going to probably be Joker, but don't put me on the spot.
I got Joker as well.
Yeah, I got
Joker as well. Brought up Mitchell. I'm going to segue into the Jazz here.
Okay. Go for it.
Are you surprised by the success of the Utah Jazz? Do you see them as San Antonio Spurs-esque? Mm-hmm. And, I'm talking prime Spurs.
Yeah, definitely.
Are they a real contender?
I think they're a real contender. They definitely they play team ball. The thing about the Jazz that impresses me the most is they're not selfish. Everybody has a night. Jordan Clarkson had a 40-point night. I mean, Donovan's putting up numbers. I mean, even what's his name? O'Neal.
Yeah.
You know,
Russ
Joe
O'Neal.
Ingles goes
Yeah.
crazy. Mike Conley's going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So any night, anybody can go off, and they don't mind sharing the spotlight either. You know, and Gobert on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody on that team, they're hooping right now. I think they're a true contender, honestly. I got to see it
And
in the
are we
playoffs.
Defining true contender as champion contender?
I'm talking about, top four for sure. When it comes down to it, they'll be in the Final Four for sure. Now I got to see how they go against a healthy Lakers. You know, I got to see how they go against a healthy Clippers with the addition of Rondo. Different players, like I got to see these different matchups. But in the Nuggets, they've been hooping ever since they got Aaron Gordon. So I gotta see a couple of things. But they're top 4 team for sure. When the playoffs come, they're gonna be right there when they need to be. You know, competing for the Western Conference Finals and hopefully a Finals if they do get it.
Who is the most underrated player in the game today, and why?
I'd probably say Devon Booker right now. It was Mike Conley. He finally got his roses with the All-Star, you know, the All-Star nod. But Devin Booker, to me, man, I mean, this man keeps putting up numbers, but then at the same time, he still goes under the rug a little bit. He just honestly, he deserves a lot of recognition for his offensive skills, but then also he's bringing it defensively this year as well. And one thing I've noticed about him this year, from any other year, he's talking a lot more as far as trash talk, which means he's feeling a lot more confident now. When you got somebody like a CP3 that can find you in your pocket, you know, and give you the ball where you need to get it, it makes you feel like you can be unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? So I think Devin Booker for sure. I think he's underrated. Matter of fact, I even think LeBron said it in a tweet. He's underappreciated or underrated as well. So Devin Booker's that guy, man. Young sniper, man. Should have been a Thunder.
And, you know, a team that was very, very disrespected by the NBA media last year was the Miami Heat.
Really? Why do you think that?
No one picked them. They were picked against in every series.
That's true. That's true.
And even this year, I feel they're being disrespected. I know they've disappointed, you could say, but it's a COVID year.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
They still have a stacked roster. They added Oladipo. Do you feel that same disrespect is going on right now with them? And could you see them being a dark horse in the Eastern Conference?
They're always going to be a dark horse. I think with Jimmy Butler, man, just his underdog mentality and his go-getter mentality, you know what I'm saying? Just his whole backstory, you know what I'm saying? Sleeping in his car when he was younger. That type of, you can't make that stuff up. When you're that hungry for success and you go through those type of stories just to be able to get there, you're going to propel your team there. And he expects greatness out of his teammates. You know, he'll go over to Tyler Hero and be like, hey, I need you to come on, we got to get it going. Go over to Bam. You're the best player on this team. We need you. So just holding people accountable. I think he's one of the true leaders in the NBA that holds his teammates accountable. A lot of other people might not say it in the public, but he says it out in the public. So just that drive and just being that hungry, you know what I'm saying, in his game, you know, he's one of the best two-way players as well. So he backs it up. So they're always going to be an underdog no matter what, but that's the Miami Heat way. You know what I'm saying? They just like to get it from the mud. So I think they're going to be a true dark horse.
And the Chicago Bulls,
Yeah.
What did you make of the Vucevic trade?
Yeah.
Zach LaVine, another guy who's probably criminally underrated in the league.
Definitely underrated. He got his roses this year, though.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got the young players in Markkanen and White.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the Bulls?
I like the Bulls. For an Eastern Conference team for sure. I don't know where they would be in the West.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you just dropped that team in the West, I don't know where they would be. But adding Vooch, you know, that's a big deal right there. You know, you bring an all-star over to Chicago to help out. They needed a big presence in the paint. Wendell Carter wasn't what they expected he was going to be from the beginning. But I also think Wendell just needed to, you know, he needed to be healthy. He wasn't really healthy. So he's showing a little bit in Orlando. But I think Vooch and Zach LaVine, I think that could be special. And I think they're one more piece away, too. Kobe White's playing real good right now as well. And Laurie looks real good. He got to just be healthy.
Yeah. Do you think are they a year away with that core? Like they need to gel still, or they need to add that other piece?
Gel with adding that piece. Gel with adding the piece. I mean, you can never have enough pieces. If you can get, you know, a Kyle Lowry or something like that to come over there in the free agency, that adds a whole nother dimension. You know, if you add a veteran presence over there,
That's arguably what they need, right?
you see what I'm saying? Yeah, that's all they need. So you add a Kyle Lowry over there, then you have those three, you know, heading it, and he can also teach Kobe White while he's going along. The sky's the limit at that point. They got some young talent on that team that could really, really flourish. And I also want to give a shout out to Thaddeus Young too, because he's been playing out of his mind this year too. Underrated as well.
Yes, he has. How do you feel about your Boston Celtics right now?
Oh man.
Is the current big three, is that enough? Do they need to break up that big three? Has Kemba disappointed to a degree? And what do you think has kind of gone wrong for them? And sort of from like not being a top three kind of Eastern.
It's simple. It's COVID and rest. That's what it comes down to. Jason Tatum had COVID. He came back, but he wasn't the same. He said he uses an asthma pump, you know, before and after games right now, even because of the COVID. So and then Kemba's still trying to nurse the injury coming back from the knee. So just a lot of rest, and then now Jaylen Brown's banged up with the shoulder. So we haven't been able to practice. You know what I'm saying? We haven't been able to gel, you know, with this new look. And but at the same time, it's giving a chance, like for Robert Williams. You know, he's getting in there, getting some minutes now. Time Lord, Tristan Thompson got to get healthy, get his legs back under him. I like what we have right now. I think we just need to gel together. We'll be a scary 8th, 7th seed or whatever we're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna force somebody, you know, to play. You know, we're not gonna be an easy out.
And I know Daniel Theis was kind of a Boston fan favorite there. Were you disappointed that?
I was mad about that. Yeah.
What was the logic behind that, do you think?
I think it's just more so giving Robert Williams a chance to flourish. I mean, in his minutes, he's been putting up crazy blocks. I mean, you know, crazy numbers, you know. Definitely love Theis, you know what I'm saying? He's always going to be a fan favorite in Boston no matter what. But sometimes you got to sacrifice in order to be where you want to be in life. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be a winner, you're going to sacrifice what you have to sacrifice in order to get to the top. So I just think, you know, Jason Tatum's going to be that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Why can't those guys coexist, Robert Williams and Theis?
I think they could. It's just you got Tristan Thompson in the mix too.
Right.
There's so many, you know what I'm saying? There's only enough minutes to, you know. So I think Time Lord's more so for the future, moving forward. He's younger. He's younger like the other guys are, you know, Tatum, Brown, and them. So I think that was the right move to make. I think they're gonna be scary in the playoffs. They just got to gel together. They're finally getting some wins under them now. But I think they're gonna be a scary team. I also think the Knicks are gonna be a scary team. I don't like New York, you know, sports as much, you know, Yankees and all that stuff from being from Boston. But I got to respect what Julius Randle and them boys are doing right now. And they're doing something special over there. You know, adding Derrick Rose. You also got, what's his name over there? Quickly. Yeah, Quickly's going crazy. You know what I'm saying? So they got some pieces over there, too. You know, and RJ Barrett's finally hooping. So I like what the Knicks are doing this year, too, man.
Are you buying in for this season or are you buying in for the future? With the Knicks?
Probably this season. You know, I got to see what the Knicks always do something funny when it comes to free agency, or I got to see how they draft.
You think they can win a series?
I think they can win a series this year, depending on who they play. They've been competitive with Brooklyn all year. You know what I'm saying? And that's a top tier team. So it just kind of depends. You know, I think Julius Randle and RJ. If Julius Randle can win, if he has a series where he's the mismatch.
Well, I pose this question to a lot of guys. I'm going to pose it to you.
Yeah, go for it.
Obviously, Julius Randle is an all-star now.
Yeah.
But is he a superstar?
He's an all-star. Do it again consistently, I'll give him superstar.
One more year.
If he could do it consistently, I'll give him superstar for sure. But I love Julius Randle. I love his game. Watched him at Kentucky. You know, he has that mama mentality. You know what I'm saying? He talked about the Kobe stories and stuff. So I want to see him flourish, man. I really do.
And all right, we got some sneaker questions here.
Okay, let's go for it.
So Luka has the new Air Jordan 35 low.
Yep.
Your thoughts on that shoe, and how big of a player do you think Luka will be with Jordan Brand moving forward here?
You're talking future-wise.
Yes.
I think
and just invading kind of the sneaker space.
Yeah, I think the 35, the Luka P's have been crazy. Crazy as in good. I love them. He had the Luka the Don one. He had the I think he had like a magic. It was like a magical one with the stars and everything on it. I thought that was cool. He also just dropped his 35 low PE. I thought that was really nice. That was probably the first 35 low PE that came out where the box was included with still being a part of the PE with his initials on it. That's his first shoe that came out with his signature on it as far as his logo. So I thought that was pretty cool. As far as the Jordan brand, I honestly thought that they should have put Luka. This is just my personal opinion. I thought they should have had Zion and Luka having a shoe come out around the same time. If you're gonna give Zion a signature shoe, you got to give Luka one, in my opinion. I get Zion's a phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna sell, but Luka's winning games, and he's been in the playoffs. He's getting it done. He's showing up every night, and on top of that, Luka has the whole city of Dallas, wrapped around his hands. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you can get a big city to wrap around what you're doing, you can definitely sell some shoes. Oklahoma City, KD and Russ was selling shoes out like constantly, and that's a small market. So just imagine Luka, if he had his own shoe, I think they would buy him up like crazy over here. So the future, he needs to. Jordan Brand, he needs to have his own shoe, and let's make sure that Luka the Don gets one, and we'll definitely see what happens. But I think he's a part of the future for sure.
And you kind of led into my next question there. I wanted your thoughts on the Zion getting his signature shoe.
I love it, man. I love it. Man, so humble. You know what I'm saying? So humble, gracious, plays the game the right way.
Did you see his post-game interview talking about the shoe? He was extremely humble.
He's humble. I thought it was pretty cool because I saw something where he said he put his favorite superheroes into the mix, and he wanted to put the Z like he was a superhero. And then I know the details of the shoe has his family's name in it engraved, and a couple of the colorways are based off of his family as well. So I thought that was real cool, man. I thought honestly he deserved it, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Duke fan and all the above, but he put in a lot of work, and he's had the most hype since LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So hands down, you gotta monetize off that hype and be able to take care of him and make sure that he got a shoe. I love it though. I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's the Zion one. I love it. The cushion, the cushion zoom is amazing. I like the Z on the side of the shoe, just like it has the Z on the side of his head. So I thought that was cool. And then the colorways are gonna be amazing. He got a colorway coming out for his mom. Got a colorway coming out for his little brother. I know he has a shoe called, instead of DNA, it's called ZNA, where it's gonna be half the shoe's gonna be glow in the dark, half the shoe's not gonna be glow in the dark. But he definitely deserved that, and I wouldn't want anybody else but him to have that shoe. Besides Luka, I feel like Luka needs his own, and Jason Tatum I think needs his own too.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you think Jordan Brand has picked the two best stars to kind of what's up between Zion and Luka to bet on?
I think Jordan Brand got a three-headed monster with Tatum, Zion, and Luka. So I think they'll be able to get shoes for sure and carry that Jordan Brand name.
All right, last one for you as well.
Yeah.
Sports cards have taken off.
Yeah,
and I don't know if are you paying attention to NBA Top Shot?
I have not, but I've heard about it. You got to give me some information on it.
I got you. So I'm just curious. What have you thought of the rise of kind of sports cards and Top Shot, and how is it impacting just kind of the sports business as a whole from what you're seeing?
From what I'm seeing, people getting paid off them sports. They're getting paid off them cards. So I started to ask my mom to start digging in, dig around a little bit for, I got some cards, hanging around besides Pokemon. But I got some other cards, some NBA cards that are hanging around. So just seeing that, and I even heard some of LeBron's cards and going for like $3 million, this, that, and the third, and like rookie cards and stuff like that. So just hearing that, I didn't know it was a lucrative business, so I might have to look into that with the cards and everything. So, it's crazy because you got the sky-rising sneakers, but then now, like you said, you got the cards are coming. So I didn't know it was that serious until I heard about the LeBron one, and then I heard about the Zion one as well. And even Game 1 shoes, though, that's been a hot commodity lately, where a lot of people are buying, Game 1 shoes that players wear and everything like that, one-on-ones, and then they put them on eBay for like, $100,000 and stuff like that. So I seen a pair of Zions go for like $500,000. You know what I'm saying? One of his Duke PEs that he wore, because that was his last time wearing a Nike. So now he's with Jordan. So that was his last time wearing Nikes, was in college. So that shoe went for like $500,000 and stuff like that. So it's just crazy how everything's just coming about now as far as monetizing.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give you the last word. What is next for Sneaker Reporter? What do you have coming down the pipeline?
Yeah.
What do you want fans to know that might be coming up? Any social media, any plugs? Let the people know.
I appreciate that. Sneakerreporter.com, man. Definitely check it out, man. We got a lot of stuff coming. I'm going to be working on the app. So that's gonna be coming up too. We got a lot of stuff coming. There's some stuff I can't talk about right now. But go ahead. What?
Are you Houston full time now? Are you Rockets? Can the people expect you to be Rockets?
We'll see. Anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? I still love my Oklahoma City Thunder. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is right now I look at myself as a free agent. You know, sort of like what Sting said. You know, he said I'm a free agent. So at the end of the day, I rock with Houston. I'm out in Houston. You know what I'm saying? I still, John Wall. I love those guys. John Wall, Christian Wood, they're doing their thing too. Obviously, it's a down year. You know what I'm saying? They got the worst record in the league right now. But overall though, sneakerreport.com, we're gonna have a lot of stuff, you know what I'm saying, coming to you. Keep it locked. We're also gonna get into the NFL now, so we're gonna have an NFL sneaker reporter. That's gonna be going full time. We're gonna get into the Major League Baseball sneaker reporter. Also, we got the WWE sneaker reporter coming. So I'm trying to capitalize on every single thing where we're not just talking about sneakers and what people are wearing and stuff like that, but actually talk about what's going on in the games. And that's what I do. So I talk about the game, but then at the same time I talk about the story besides the game. And I always try to give fans a double side of what I see and what I like. I never talk about something I don't like. So we got a lot of stuff coming, brewing up. You can follow me on Twitter, at Travis Singleton, Instagram, Sneaker Reporter. Taylor, I appreciate you. This has been amazing. Love Dallas, love the city. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Luka. Shout out to C. Hindu, my dog. And he's the one that put me on Luka. I gotta make sure I put that out there. I don't want to get beat up, but he's the one that told me Luka was gonna be a big deal, and he was true on his word. And look, now he's doing big things out here in Dallas. But keep it locked, sneakerreport.com. A lot of big things coming. I'm trying to change. I'm trying to be legendary, so I'm gonna shake up the game a little bit.
Appreciate the time, sir. Much love. Fanatics View, we are signing out.